Oh, yeah. Five-star. LSU. I said, they ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU, huh? They ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU. We the best in the league if you looking for talent. LSU going hard, but we beat Alabama, then we going out to Florida. Drown the Gators, everybody getting bucked when we step in the stadium. This is the LSU anthem, you know it's a hit. You don't know another rapper two-step like this. See me screaming out the window, yelling purple and gold. I'm an LSU fan, girl, you know how we roll now. Back and back it on up, hey. 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 Way down in the back.
TA. We are live Friday night here in the Tigers Avenue. Welcome to the show, everybody. Appreciate all y'all joining in. It's going to be a great show. Things to talk about, things to discuss, things to debate, things to ponder, things to wander.
You got any more vocab words there?
No, I think that'll be it. Okay,
gotcha.
So, Zach, I mean, just before we get into everything, I got to tell you what I've been playing lately. What game I've been playing lately.
Okay.
It's a classic. It will never not be fun. Maybe you can take a guess at what I've been playing.
Well, you only have the PS4, correct?
Incorrect.
Oh, okay. Can you tell me what other console you have?
I'm playing it on PlayStation 3.
NCAA football.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
I mean, the game is just it's never not fun. It's the best game you could play ever.
Even the 2014, even as old as it is now.
Yes. And I mean, the recruiting in this game is awesome. I mean,
I forgot
that feature is awesome. Yes. So, I mean, I'm running a dynasty, started off offense coordinator at the University of Buffalo. I'm now the head coach at Buffalo. So, I mean, dynasty's going pretty well. Won the Fiesta Bowl last season.
Congrats.
You know, Buffalo's on the way up, man. They're y'all better look out for them next year, okay?
Buffalo.
We may come for the chip next year.
Oh, my gosh.
I declined a job. I declined the head coaching job at Missouri to become the head coach at Buffalo because I'm dedicated to my boys like that.
Oh, my gosh.
My quarterback had 1 year of eligibility left, so I came back for his last year. So,
okay.
Yeah.
This is the things we do on video games.
Yes. So, Zach, I can't wait for it, which they keep pushing it back. It's like 2024 now. The new college football game. That was kind of where I was going with this.
Yeah, I'm with you.
This has nothing to do with our show tonight, but I wanted to talk about it because I love that game. I'm sure some of you've played it before too. But it's supposed to have like the transfer portal, and you know, of course, it'll have the playoffs and all this stuff. And I'm excited about it. I just can't freaking wait. They can't get here soon enough. I wish EA Sports would get their crap together and get it made. And while they're at it, why don't you make a college baseball game?
Oh, my gosh. If they did that, I would lose it.
And a college basketball game. Like, how fun would it be to be able to play March Madness? Like, that would be so freaking fun. Like,
it was fun. I mean,
yes, back in the PlayStation 2 days when we had college basketball and college baseball.
Played it, bro.
EA Sports. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Zach, we need to clip this, put it on Twitter, and tag EA Sports.
Bring all the college games back.
Yes, bring all of them back. They're amazing. I mean, I would be thrilled to play a college baseball game. I mean, that would just be amazing.
Bro. I'm with you there. I'm definitely with you there. I wish they would do that.
Needs to happen.
Maybe it will now that they're back. Getting kind
NIL and whatnot,
all going, NIL and all that good stuff. Like maybe they'll actually finally do it.
EA Sports needs to start doing NIL deals, like big NIL deals for the cover of their video games.
Yeah,
each year. like each year. So
There's definitely an opportunity there to take advantage of some money for them and obviously the players as well.
I feel like I should be allowed to have an input, like a say so in the EA Sports next college football cover. It needs to be a feature to every Heisman since 2014. It needs to be it needs to be a plethora of players from like 2015 to current, like all the Heisman. It needs to be
with Joe Burrow at the center.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Why not? So, anyways, that was my 2 cents. I've been playing that lately when I have spare time. I love it. It's an amazing game, and I can't wait for them to come out with the new one. And y'all need to start working on college basketball and college baseball because that would be amazing.
Well, I also have been playing video games.
Shout out Balcony Bengals
again. I made the purchase of a PS5.
So I've heard.
By the way, great console. Problem is, my biggest issue with it is a unit. It is like 2 times a PS4 Slim.
Yeah, it is
too much. Now, like I get it, like you're trying to like catch up with PC and get with the PC, speed, PC,
sure.
Graphics, all that stuff, PC ability. Like I've never played PC, but I know PC is the best way to go. And PlayStation's trying to get there, with a console. And so, I'm sure there's a lot of components that go into that, and that's why you have this just massive console.
Yeah,
but I could do without it. I'd much rather prefer something like the size of like
Yeah. Anyway, so that's. Anyways, I've been playing that. It's fun. They didn't come to hear now. Yeah, they didn't come to hear us talk about our recent video games. Zach, let's talk about the court controversy first, because I think everybody wants to hear more about the women's basketball than the actual controversy that's been going on.
Boring, dull.
Yeah.
Away.
So,
yeah,
I think we needed to discuss it just because it's come up, it's kind of in the media right now. I don't know how. Anyways, the name on the court is the issue. If you haven't seen or not. But supposedly, of course, last year they named the court Dale Court, right? And I'm okay with that. I think it's great. Dale Brown Court. Why not? He's probably the best coach we've ever had in our men's basketball program. Took us to Final Four. Had Shaq and, anyways, one of our better men's coaches, probably the best that we've had. So why not honor him? Supposedly, I'm not saying this is fact, Zach, but supposedly President William Tate and supposedly the governor of Louisiana has been trying to, so don't quote me on this. I'm not saying this is fact. This is what I've seen. Mm-hmm. Trying to remove his name and put Sue Gunter. And I think Sue Gunter is worthy of her of her respect. She's a great LSU women's basketball coach. That's what she's known for. I think she's a great woman, and I think she should be honored for what she did at LSU and what she did for the women's program. But I don't think you have to remove Dale Brown's name and then put Sue Gunter. You can honor them in both ways. I've seen some people, put up the idea of putting both their names, and I've seen people not like that idea. It's kind of a slap to the face to Dale Brown. You've given him the court name, and now you're kind of putting someone else's name. I don't know. I don't necessarily see the problem with that. Mm-hmm. Put her name on one side and put his name on the other. They're both great basketball coaches in the history of LSU. That's fine. If you don't want to do that, leave Dale Brown's name there and give Sue some kind of other honor within the PMAC, or outside of the PMAC. Do something else. You don't have to take his name. The problem I have with
Gunter basketball facility,
right, like exactly. Like I don't see the I don't see the problem with honoring Sue Gunter whatsoever.
I agree
At all. And I see people upset about the idea of putting both their names on the court. I necessarily don't have a problem with it, but I do have a problem with the idea of removing Dale Brown's name. You don't give the man the honor of naming the court after him and then strip that of him a year later. That's just wrong. I mean, it's just plain wrong. You gave it to him. It was a 12-3 vote. 12-3 vote to name Dale Brown Court. It was a very majority vote. And to do that and then take it back, more so, I think it would look bad on LSU than it would be a slap to Dale Brown's face. But I think it would be both at the same time. But more so, I think that does not look good to LSU. You honor a guy and then you take his name away when he hasn't done anything wrong. Like, what has Dale Brown done to deserve his name being removed? You know what I mean? Like, he hasn't done anything.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. To be brutally honest with all this, I don't really care.
Exactly.
I don't care which way it goes. I don't care what they decide. I don't care. I just don't. Probably because, if there was nothing going on in the world of LSU, then I'd probably, maybe be a little bit more interested, but not really. But, with women's basketball going on and, of course, LSU baseball quickly coming up, I just don't care. I do agree with you. I think it's disrespectful to take away the name. I don't think it is a bad thing to add Sue anywhere, whether it be on the opposite side of the court or whether it be a different part of basketball ops or whatever that they honor her in. I don't think it's a problem. I don't think it should be a problem for the Dell camp either if they honor her and keep his name. I mean, you know how they do it. The basketball they kind of put it in the kind of upper corner.
Exactly.
Just put it diagonal. Put it on the opposite side, flip it, and if you want to put her name, then do that. But honestly, Reagan,
it don't matter. I mean, if you want
everybody's all up in arms about it. I'm like, it just doesn't make sense.
I get it because there's history there, and you don't want to dishonor him. So I'm okay with that. But number one, I don't even know why it's a discussion. It should not be discussed to remove his name. You gave him the honor, stick to honoring him. He hasn't dishonored the university in any way to deserve to have it removed. Yeah. So don't do it. Don't take his name off. That don't make sense to me. That's what I have a problem.
I agree.
Other than that, honor Sue Gunter any way you want to. Just don't take Dale's name away. If you want to, every women's basketball game, say, welcome to the PMAC. We're playing on Sue Gunter Court. And then every men's basketball game, say, welcome to the PMAC. We're playing on Dale Brown Court.
Yeah.
Who cares? She coached women's basketball. Call it Sue Gunter Court when the women are playing. He coached men's basketball. Call it Dale Brown Court when the men are playing. It don't matter.
Why does it have to be one or the other?
Exactly. It does not have to be one or the other. You don't got to remove him to put hers.
Ryan said it. Building, court, field, stadium, names do not win games.
It does. Exactly.
At the end of the day, I mean, for the people that love and support those people, is it going to matter to them? Yes, of course.
Sure.
Is it going to matter to those people specifically? Yes. To everyone else, does it matter? No. Do you think the players right now, men's and women's basketball, both those teams, do you think they care about whose name's on the court? No. They don't. And if you do, I'm sorry to tell you that they don't. So
the players, no.
But they don't care. And I would even say probably the coaches right now. Now,
the coaches would say something
for
PR, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think they're too flying for the doodles.
I do think, maybe Kim would probably appreciate, them honoring Sue.
Sure.
I think that would be, and she would recognize that. But
eventually Kim's name's going to be on there.
Whenever you get outside of, for PR needs with the coaches and those people specifically and their family, friends that support them specifically. It doesn't matter. Right now, it's a big topic because it's a media topic. I mean, people are discussing it because it is a hot button topic for media members to discuss. And that's why
it's something for them to cover. It's something
for them to cover. And that's what they're doing. They're covering that right now because it's a controversy. It's an issue, right? And that's what people want to hear. They want to hear what's all the drama going on right now with LSU basketball court.
Right.
I don't care.
My thing is I don't even know why it's a discussion. People are saying it's political. And if it's political, we need to stop. Like, come on. Are we really going to politicize the name of our court now? Like, I fully would understand if Dale Brown just did something horrible and brought shame to the program. Probably in the best interest to take the name off the court and put Sue Gunter. Sure, Dale Brown hasn't done anything though, and it is a dishonor to him and bad on LSU to do that. Just honor them both. They both did great things for LSU. They both contributed to the LSU programs and what they are today. Great people. Neither of them done anything wrong. Honor them both in some way.
Let's move on.
What is
the problem with saying this is the Dale Brown and Sue Gunter court?
That people are. That's my thing. Like, people are saying it diminishes Dale, and I'm like,
no, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. You're honoring both. It doesn't. I would love to hear. I don't know how Dale feels about this, but I would love to hear what he has to say about it.
I'm sure he appreciates the honor, but I don't know if he gives. Yeah, I don't even know if he cares. You know what I mean? Like, it's a great, when it's someone, I don't know, Zach. Someone feels honored to be, honored in that way, but I feel like he's not going to throw a hissy fit over it, right?
I mean, if his name is not getting taken down, then I don't see why he would have a problem with it.
No, I don't see him having a problem with putting Sue Gunter's on his. Anyways.
Yeah. Now, taking his down, obviously, I would be upset about that.
Sure.
Anyway, if it was me and I was hearing that they were going to take my name off the court after they just did it, I'd be upset about it. I mean, I would understand that, and that's the topic right now. That's the discussion. Is let's take it down and let's put up. Just honor both. I'm with you, 100%.
My main concern is, why is it an issue of the president to do so? Like, why is that what you're thinking? Like, why is that your solution to honor one person is to take someone's name off? Like, surely you can think of a better idea. Like, let's have a better idea with this. Anyways, I think we've spent enough time on it. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. If it plays out any particular way, we'll give our thoughts on it. Just honor them both. Don't take one's name away. So, anyways, speaking of basketball and the basketball court, the Lady Tigers had a tight game last night.
The last two we've had to do because we went Friday. They played on Sunday against Tennessee. No, they played Monday against Tennessee.
Monday, yeah.
And then they had 2 days off, and then went right back to it on Thursday.
So the Tennessee game was expected to be close. I think the Tennessee game was expected to be close. I think that's why, it was a wide out, huge crowd. Zach, holy cow! It was a record breaking crowd.
Yes.
Never has anyone or any sporting event at the PMAC had that many people there. I mean, it was a venue record-breaking crowd. So kudos to Kim Mulkey to continue to make this program everybody wants to watch it. Everybody is watching it. People are going to games. You just broke a record. A Thursday night against Georgia had a great crowd again. The women's program is doing everything right now.
Yes.
Everything right. And it's because you have Kim Mulkey at the helm. So who gives a flying fladoodle whose name's on the court? Once Kim Mulkey wins 5 national championships, it might be her name on the court. So
I don't disagree with
anyway,
you there at all.
you said what now?
I said I don't disagree with you there at all.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, I mean they're killing it, Zach. But
Yeah.
2 tight games. I mean, what do you
Very.
make? I guess we can talk about the Tennessee game. I mean, that was a great game. That was an energetic game, back and forth, competitive. What were your thoughts on the Tennessee game?
On the Tennessee game, I think LSU played a team that was ready for LSU. I mean, they're undefeated in the SEC. There's only 3 teams in the SEC whenever that game was played that were undefeated, and it was LSU,
In conference
Tennessee,
play, yeah.
in conference play. LSU, Tennessee, South Carolina. Obviously,
Correct.
Tennessee has taken some losses, but to go undefeated in conference play against a really good conference is very impressive. And so you had a battle of the 2 unbeatens in conference play. And we knew it was going to be a tightly contested ball game. Tennessee's good. I know they're like 17-6, or after the loss, they were like 17-5 coming into the game.
Something like that.
I know that's, a little misleading, and you might look at that and go, oh, well, we should beat them. No, Tennessee's a really good team.
They're 8-0 in conference.
Yeah, and I'm going blank on her name, but number 2 for Tennessee, I forgot her name.
Yeah.
Dude, she's a baller, and she's a potential WNBA draft pick. Like, she's good. She's really freaking good. And so, they had their work cut out for them. The last 2 games, they've struggled with turnovers and shooting. Specifically turnovers. Now they did a lot better job last night of forcing turnovers than turning the ball over. But they didn't convert on the turnovers that they got last night. Then of course against Tennessee, they had the struggles of their own with the turnovers. So there's definitely some things to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
I'll say this, Reagan. I have praised Angel Reese in everything, and I will continue to do so. She's amazing. I think she deserves to be on the tops for the Wooden Award, as we discussed last week. All those things. But I think Angel Reese can do a better job of going up strong and taking better shot selections within the paint. There are some times that she gets the ball in the block and she doesn't get good positioning and she still throws up a shot.
Yeah.
Because, she's good and she's a great player. So it's not like, it's going to be a no point or effortless shot, but I still think she can do a better job of taking better shot selections. And a lot of times it seems like she just doesn't go up strong. Like she kind of just throws it up there every now and then.
Yeah.
Like I want to see her put the ball down, go up strong and finish. Like I just don't like Alexis Morris is great at that. She is phenomenal at and we'll talk about Alexis Morris because obviously she had a massive night against Tennessee.
Career night.
And then obviously had the shot against Georgia. So I want to see more of that. And Angel Reese is still young. We look at her as kind of a veteran, but she's a true sophomore. So she's got some growing to do. I think she can work on finishing better in the paint. I think that's an area that they should focus on moving forward, especially if they want to make a long run into the postseason and a bid at the national championship. To move on from her, like I just mentioned, Alexis Morris has been phenomenal. We saw her role kind of change here early on in the season. She transitioned more to the point guard, wasn't scoring as much. A lot of the scoring was going obviously to Angel Reese, and obviously Flage has had a good season scoring as well. So we saw her kind of, her role change a little bit. And then we saw her come off the bench, and that seemed to put a spark in her because she has been really, really good scoring-wise since then. She put up 31 against Tennessee. She put up 15 against Georgia the other night, and she just takes smart shot selections. You see the veteranship in her as compared to the youth in Angel Reese with the shot selection. She finishes strong. When she pulls that little mid-range jumper, bro, it's like it is going it almost feels like against Tennessee it was like it was automatic. Now, she did struggle a little bit against Georgia.
Right.
But when it mattered the most, she hit, she stepped up and she hit a massive shot to, protect and keep the undefeated season alive with Georgia potentially upsetting. So, last 2 games were exhilarating. And Dad and even Mom, got to finally kind of watch those 2 games, and they were into it. It's something to your point that you made about Kim Mulkey, she is building something with LSU. And I wanted to say this because a lot of the girl players, they've been kind of talking about this on social media, and even Alexis talked about it today a lot. And I encouraged her and quote tweeted her about it. There's too many, and I know this sounds bad because this is not a bad thing, but it's a mentality thing. I think it's the wrong mentality. She made a statement that they're, basically what the gist of her tweet was, we need less supporters of the team and more people that are coming for the entertainment. We don't really want the people that are coming to support the team. I mean, obviously that's a good thing. We want the people that are there because they want to be there to enjoy the entertainment of women's college basketball. Yeah. And her and Angel Reese have been making a push that the narrative for women's sports and specifically women's college basketball needs to change. There needs to be more heart. There needs to be more passion, more of girls expressing their emotions in the game. And I love that. I mean, whenever Alexis Morris hit that 3 last night, she flexed on her, bro. She was like going nuts. She was screaming. She was flexing. She chest bumped Alexis Morris. she was having a blast. Now, also, I mean, you had Diamond on that played for Georgia.
Yeah.
And listen. She was mocking Angel Reese. Yeah, but I love it. She's trash talking her, bro. That's awesome. Diamond battles. I mean, you got what you deserve because you don't mock Angel Reese and then expect to just walk over.
Get away with it.
Yeah, get away with it. You got what you deserved. And she had a phenomenal night. She scored 22.
Yeah, she did.
But guess what? Angel scored 23.
Yeah.
So, for the record. And in the words of Aunt Marshall, Petty Murphy, how's that ale taste? Dude, that was awesome. So anyways, but even that, she's showing a passion for the game. She's down there mocking Angel Reese because she's having a great game. They need more of that. And then, you think about the other night in the Tennessee game, Poa draws an offensive foul. She's clapping, and they call her.
They called a tag. That was so lame. Are you
serious?
It was lame.
We're calling techs for a player clapping, and I get it. She was kind of directing the clap towards the player.
Well, of course.
But you're not going to see that in a men's game. If a player gets up and looks at it, and another guy looks at the dude, and he's clapping. Now, if he says something, that's vulgar or demeaning, they're probably gonna call it tag. But if she didn't say nothing, she just went kind of gave her the look and then clapped and beep, teed her up. Stupid. In a men's game, that never gets called.
No, it don't.
If they say something inappropriate or demeaning, it gets called. Yes, but if they're just clapping at them and celebrating at them, they're not gonna call it. They call it tech. That pissed me off. There needs to be a change in women's sports. There needs to be a recognition of these girls' passion for the game, and we need to stop expecting them to treat the sport and a sport that they love, they got to walk on eggshells because they're girls. No, they have a passion for the game, and I completely get that. Why do you have to withhold yourself from what you love so much? Right? We're not gonna, we're not gonna ask you, Reagan. Hey, we know you love to preach, and we know you love God, and we know you love Jesus, but maybe just withhold that passion a little bit.
Right?
Nobody's gonna do that, right?
No.
And this is what these girls are doing. These girls are living out their dream. They are fulfilling their passion.
No doubt.
Let them live it out. Let them
Yeah.
express themselves. Now, obviously, if it gets out of hand and you gotta, there's something said, there's something done, that's
Sure.
inappropriate. Obviously, understandable. There's it's a situational thing. But right now, we're at a place where they're not really letting them express themselves.
Yeah, honestly, whenever she clapped like that and got the tech, and then Angel Reese stood up and did the, I ate that, and then hit a little dance after it.
That was more than
the
clap.
Yeah, I thought she was going to get a tech for it. I really did.
Me too.
And I mean, I didn't care, but I was like,
if she,
that was way more than what last year did. It was way more.
Yes.
So, anyways, it was a little bit inconsistent, I think, in that aspect. And you're absolutely right. They need to be able to do just like the men do, celebrate just like the men do, because they're good. I mean, they're very good. They're undefeated. They need to be able to do that all they want to because they deserve it. Right, I mean, obviously, like you said, if it gets out of hand, I can understand a tech. Clapping at the girl like that was uncalled. Like, the tech was not worthy of that.
I agree. Reagan, so but I discussed it. What do you make of these last two games and the really close performances, kind of sluggish performances by LSU? Poor shooting. They only shot 35%. I'm looking at it now. They only shot 35% from the floor. Free throw shooting continues to be an issue.
Yeah.
2%. They did shoot. They shot, let's see. Good. 45 free throws. 45 free throws. They made 62% of them. That continues to be an issue.
Yeah.
This was in the Georgia game. So, what do you make of the struggles? How do they need to correct them moving forward? You got, really, pun intended, you got a layup game coming up against Texas A&M before the big matchup with South Carolina and the whole week break.
Yeah, I have to agree with you a little bit. There's times when it's like Angel is forcing something. Yes. I think that's a good way to put it. She's trying to force something to happen when it may not be there. And so some of the shots, like whenever it goes up, you're like, ew.
Yeah. Not a good
it wasn't there, right? I think what she ends up trying to do is draw a foul, and the foul, and the foul don't get called, and anyways, I think there's a little bit of a she's forcing some things up when she shouldn't be. I think you made a great point. She is a true sophomore, so there's a lot she can learn under Kim and can mature because she is a true sophomore, whereas Alexis Morris is a fifth-year senior. So I do want to see that improve a little bit. Absolutely. The free throws, the only reason you were in the game against Georgia is because they continually fouled you.
And turned the ball over.
And they turned the ball over a lot.
And gave up offensive, LSU was dominating on offensive rebounds. They were dominating on the turnover margin, and they were dominating at getting to the line. And it was a very close game.
It was a very close game. It shouldn't have been. If you're hitting your free throw, I think he said at one point, if you make half of the ones you missed, you'd have had a X amount point lead. You got to do better at the stripe. When a team puts you on the line that many times, it should not be that close. But hey, I think they got a reality check. Man, Tennessee's a good team. I expected it to be that way. Yeah. It was a hard-fought game. Great win. Georgia, on the other hand, I think they're a well-coached team. Yeah. They have their year one under that new lady who came from UCF. I'm drawing a blank on her name, but
she is good. She's good.
She's a great coach. She hasn't had a season where one of her teams have won less than 22 games. She's a great coach, and she's been coached for 22 years. Has been in the postseason 18 of those 22 years. And one of the 3 years that she didn't make the postseason was a COVID year. So, great coach. So, they're nobody to just glance over.
For sure.
But again, it's a first-year coach with a transfer-loaded team, and they were 4-5 in the SEC. You expected to win this game and probably win it, comfortably, maybe not commandingly or dominantly, but you expected to win this game on your own court comfortably. But Georgia came ready to play. Maybe it's what they needed, sort of a wake-up call, like, hey, we can't just cruise through every game. We got to come ready to play every night because this is how it is in the SEC. So that, I think it was good for the team to have to grind out 2 wins. I think it was good for them to do that.
I think a lot of, probably that also, probably a factor was there was a quick turnaround. I mean, 2 days is a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
They're used to around a 4-day turnaround. You had to play a game Monday. Typically they're playing on Sunday and then they're turning around on Thursday and playing. But this was Monday, Thursday. So, not a not a typical turnaround, a very shortened turnaround. So, I would also attribute probably some of the sluggishness to that as well.
It could be. But you definitely got to do better at the stripe when a team puts you there that often, because you make those shots when you're given a shot to when you're put on the free throw line, and if you make your shots, like, it wouldn't have been as close to this game as it was. But you're also, Zach, you're shooting. That's another thing I want to point out. They've gone through some shooting droughts. They did so in the Tennessee game. In the Georgia game, they went on it was over 9 minutes. Over 9 minutes they went on a scoring drought. And that just can't happen. You can't go 9 minutes without scoring. So I don't know when it comes to shooting if I think it is a shot selection issue. Find some better shots, because you can't go on 9 minute scoring droughts and beat South Carolina. You can't. Yeah. It won't happen.
Well, and I think Georgia exposed LSU a little bit with running a zone, because LSU had a very difficult time.
Oh my gosh, getting it to the paint was
it inside.
Struggle.
I mean, they were able to get it in the paint, but do anything with it in the paint, that was the issue. And they Georgia forced a lot of turnovers once it got to the paint. LaDaisy Williams and Angel struggled to hold on to the basketball once it got into the paint, and they struggled to get positioning inside the paint. So, that's scary. As we head into what looks like going to be the battle of the 2 undefeateds at South Carolina, they've got to do a lot better on shooting, free throws, turnovers, if they expect to beat the number 1 team in the country here.
I will say, Zach, tip of the cap, because we haven't mentioned it yet, tip of the cap to LaDaisy. In the fourth quarter, put up 10 points.
Yeah.
Had a great fourth quarter and kept you in that game.
For sure.
Because, when the third quarter ended and went to the fourth quarter, we were at a low point, and you were like, boy, we got to turn it around real quick. And Georgia comes out in the fourth quarter and punches you in the mouth and makes it a 9-point game quickly.
Yep.
So kudos to LaDaisy for turning that back around and keeping us in the game. She put up 10 points. She had 0 points all night. Fourth quarter put up 10 points. So tip of the cap to her to kind of command the fourth quarter and keep us in it, to be able to send it to overtime so that we had a chance to win, and ultimately they did. So I think it was a game they needed to have to be like, yo, like, we can't just tap out and put it on cruise control every night in the SEC.
For
like,
sure.
we got to come ready every night. So
yep.
I'm looking forward to. I know A&M may be somewhat of a breeze game, but man, you can't overlook it.
No.
But that South Carolina game is going to be
massive.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be awesome. I mean, I'm going to watch it. Zach, real briefly, I guess we'll say something.
I got something to say.
The men's team plays Alabama tomorrow. Thankfully, it's in the PMAC, but
doesn't matter.
Anyways,
I might be finding something else to do.
I will turn it on. I always turn the games on and I watch them.
I turn them on.
I watched the Missouri game until it got to about a minute left in the game. We'll see how long I watch the Alabama game, but I'm gonna turn it on. I don't, just say, well, I'm done with them. I'm not going to even turn the game on.
Yeah.
But
we're not done with them. We're not done with them. It's just difficult to watch.
I'm still pulling for you. But if it comes to blowing out again, I can do something better. So, anyways. So what was you about to say?
Oh, I was about to say, the next topic we got obviously got to get to is the AFC Championship game. Disappointing way for the Bengals to end. I do got to say, though, very disappointed with the officiating crew. There was a lot missed, and as you know, I usually don't blame games on the officiating crew. I think I'm not blaming this one on the officiating crew, but I think there was a lot of missed calls and calls that went in the Bills' way that altered that game.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it came down to, when you needed it most, the offensive line could not hold up enough.
Which was shocking after how they played.
It is. But look, you're down 3 stars. Lyle Collins was out for the season. Alex Kappa was out. Jonah Williams was out. Your main dudes were out. And, you already were, obviously last year they were horrible. And then you kind of helped yourself out this offseason. And where you helped yourself out this offseason, they were not playing. So really, not able to protect Joe. And then obviously just the ill-advised mistake at the end there by Osai to shove out Patty Mahomes on that run. He's going out of bounds. You had gotten a stop, and they were going to have to make a 60-yard field goal in order to win the game. I'd much, I'm going blank on the kicker's name. I know
Buckner. Harrison Buckner.
I knew it was B. With Buckner, I'm a lot more comfortable with him kicking a 60 than him kicking a 45. 45, I'm going.
When it was 45, I was like,
game over.
You should be hitting 45 pretty automatically in the NFL.
In the NFL 45, 50. In the NFL 50 is almost automatic for most kickers. In the NFL.
Should be. Brett Maher.
Yeah. But look, great season by the Bengals.
Oh, absolutely.
Joe and Jamar, they killed it.
They'll be right back in the mix.
They're going to be right back in the mix because they're going to continue to add depth and key pieces to the offense. Look, you got the skill players. You got Joe at QB, obviously T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, obviously. Then Joe Mixon and P. Ryan. I think I would be interested to see them, get kind of more of a speedster. I think Joe Mixon is kind of the reliable, back. He can kind of do it. He's kind of the do it all back. Samaje's more of the pounder. I mean, they're both good backs, but I think they need, maybe someone that's young and just a, hit a home run type player.
Right.
But we'll see what they do in the offseason. Disappointing ending.
Be drafting some O-linemen.
Draft O-lineman and draft corner. Okay. Looking. The calls were bad, Reagan. There was a lot of they missed.
Definitely missed a roughing the passer.
They missed the roughing the passer.
That was a cheap shove on Joe.
They missed roughing the passer on the play that Patty got fouled. Foul like it's basketball, but on the play that he fouled Patrick Mahomes the shove. They missed.
There was a hold. Yeah,
holding. There was other points in the game where it was just bad calls that went the Bills. I'm not the Bills. The Chiefs' way. Like just unfortunate. The officiating. And look, it wasn't just Bengals fans. There was, media, NFL media personalities that are unbiased that were coming out there saying this is very one-sided.
Yeah.
So, and then apparently, it was found out. I don't know. This is probably completely just I don't know how factual this is at all. So do not quote me on it, but apparently, like the head ref's son made a massive bet on the Chiefs, and he was asked about it. He was asked about it, and he's like, "Oh, I had no idea that my son had made that." I don't know how true that is, but I saw that, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." So, anyways, regardless,
but also, hey, the NFC, good grief, what a story of quarterbacks at the 49ers.
For real.
Like, y'all, they were literally talking about putting like their fullback at quarterback, like, or their backup running back, whatever that is.
You had your third string quarterback in.
Like your third string quarterback's in, he gets hurt, and your fourth string quarterback comes in and he gets hurt.
Yeah. And
you're out of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You got your third string back out there playing with a torn UCL. Like, this is, that was, the Eagles won it. But I don't know how fair of a game it was. Like,
I will say, we're discussing this briefly. We're about to get into baseball, but look, I really think the Eagles are about to smack on the Chiefs.
I think the Eagles are going to win it this year.
I think the Eagles are going to win it. They are just.
They have the defense. They have the offense,
and they have the offense. They have everything. And the Chiefs don't have a. They have a good, not great defense. They have a great offense, but they have a good, not great defense. Yeah. And the Eagles have both.
Yeah. All right, Zach. We need to hit a quick break because we're pretty deep in the show here, and we will finish our final segment with the infield. I'm pretty excited to talk about this one, Zach. So let's hit a quick break, and we'll discuss it right after this.
5-Star Hero, your intro and outro music for the Tigers Avenue show. They ain't ready for that LSU. Go check out all his other music on all the major platforms. Don't forget to follow him on Instagram at Saints Anthem and at Twitter at One Nation Doty. Don't forget to check out his Facebook page for all his Saints and LSU merchandise. Can't get any better than Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law. Her firm focuses on the needs of the elderly and maintaining their dignity throughout the process. Here for you, here for your family. Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law.
Hey, Zach, one question. Are we going to leave the catcher for the pitching night?
Are we gonna I was wondering about that.
I think we need to leave that for the pitching night because
that's a part of pitching.
Yeah. So okay. Anyways, Zach,
we're gonna discuss third, short, second, and first.
Okay, that sounds great because I did want to discuss all of them, even though we know there's some set players.
Yes.
Like I wanted to discuss them. So
for sure.
Third base, obviously, it very well is going to be Tommy White. Zach, what do you? Tommy Tanks. I'll give my take on this. What do you think about it?
So, from what I've heard, you are at a better position defensively than you were last year. Jacob Berry was a first-round pick, and he did have a little bit of struggles at third base.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
He had some struggles at third base, and they are saying you are better defensively. I heard, Muse does Matthew Musso does a podcast. He discussed a play where they hit a bunt down the third base line, and Tommy White charged it, and barehanded it and sidearmed it to first base. Perfection. And I get it. Like Tommy's kind of a bigger guy, right? So like you don't.
So was Jacob. He was a little stockier.
Yeah, but Tommy's bigger than Jacob.
Sure.
Tommy's bigger. He's a bigger guy. So like you're not really expecting him to be like as athletic as he is, but he is.
He may surprise you. Yeah.
He is surprisingly more athletic than I thought, and I think a lot of people thought. And for somebody, for people that are watching these scrimmages and that are talking to coaches, for them to come out and say, "Hey, we might actually be better defensively at third base this year than, oh, by the way, first-round draft pick Jacob Berry that was holding it last year."
Yeah,
like that's massive. And you want to work on the fielding. We know that most of the issues error-wise came in the infield. Obviously, we know about the injury to Jordan. Obviously, Jacob had his struggles at third. Trey Morgan was injured almost all year, playing with a brace, as we mentioned last week. So
very, very
you were unhealthy.
Yeah,
you were unhealthy infield.
I don't know if it's unhealthy, but not 100% for sure.
Not 100% for sure. Now you're 100%, and you might actually be better defensively at the spot. You've got to replace 2 spots, right? You got to replace K. Doty. Now, I will say, I think you take a step back. You know, they're saying you're going to take a step forward defensively at third base. I do think you're going to take a step back at second base because K. Doty was phenomenal last year defensively. He was good last. Well, I shouldn't say phenomenal. He was.
I was about to say
he was out of all the infielders, he was the best.
he had your best year.
He had
yeah.
It wasn't great, no, but he had your best year defensively out of the infield, who had a horrible year last year.
Right.
So I do think you take a step back there. Maybe not so defensively, but overall talent, I think you take a step back there because K. Doty, I mean, he's a really great pitcher. Obviously, not pitcher, really great player. Obviously, got drafted. To replace him is going to be tough.
And he's doing well, by the way. He's doing well for himself.
And he was a large part of your offense last year. And K. Doty last year was clutch. He came up in clutch moments a lot. So, who becomes that guy that is able to step up in clutch moments? So it's going to be interesting to see who takes it. But, obviously we know per Jay Johnson. Now, a lot of people have speculated short. They're like, okay, we got Gavin Guidry coming in. Jordan Thompson had a really rough year last year. We find out, he dealt with an injury. A lot of people thought before they really knew, well, shortstop's going to be open next year. And per Jay Johnson, it is not.
So I need to get
is the shortstop.
Yeah, I need to get my take on third base. I need to get my take. So that was my what you just said made me feel a little bit better because last year we had Jacob Berry in the lineup because he had to be in the lineup and he was at third base. Yeah. That's the best place we could find for him.
Yeah.
And it sounds like I think that is still what we are doing with Tommy Tanks. Like that is still what we are like. He's going to be in the lineup
because
this is the place we have for him.
Yes.
So when you do that defensively, it worries me. Now, I wasn't worried to the point where I was like, well, maybe he'll be better and worse than Jacob Berry. It's just the fact that like I'd never seen him play defense, and he didn't last year. At NC State, he was DH, and I think he played a little first base. So this is, he's
college level. It's his first time doing this.
Right. At college level, it's his first time doing it. So that was my concern. I definitely want it to be better than last year. That's for sure. So if it's going to be better than last year, I'm excited about that.
That's
no doubt he belongs in the lineup, and he's going to be the third baseman. But I am curious to see how he does defensively. I want to see that for myself.
For sure.
So that makes me feel a little bit better that you've been hearing that because I haven't heard much about it, which maybe not hearing anything is a good thing.
Good thing.
Right. So shortstop, Zach, like you were just saying, Jordan Thompson. Anyways, go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's going to be Jordan Thompson. I mean, there's really no discussion, no debate about it. I mean, I'm sure like in probably some midweek games and whenever they rest him, they'll probably shuffle Gavin Guidry over there to get, because I mean, he is the future at shortstop there. When Jordan leaves, he's going to be the guy there at shortstop. So, which I think is this Jordan's last year or he'll have one more year?
He is a junior, so he could come back if he wants to.
He could come back if he wants. Let's see how he does this year. But I mean,
I think he's gone.
I think
he has a good year. I think he's gone.
I agree. Like if they win the national championship, he's probably gone.
Yeah.
So
I think he could be gone even if they don't win the national championship.
First base we know is going to be Trey Morgan, no argument. How much is there a potential that he goes to outfield? Maybe, as we have said.
I don't think it's going to be.
Whenever we were discussing the outfield, I don't even think his name's in the mix unless they're just having fun. And there's like, hey Trey, go out there and catch some fly balls. They're beating the crud out of somebody, and they're like, hey Trey, you want to go, catch some fly balls? Yeah, sure. So I think he's a lot, which, we mentioned, he wasn't healthy last year. So having him at 100% health this year is already just great to hear. Excited to see him 100%. I mean, you saw him his freshman year. Awesome. Even last year with a massive brace on, he still was making
played well.
plays. So now he's 100% healthy. He's in his third year. Let's see him take a step up.
Yeah,
Now,
there was moments last year when you're like, why couldn't he? Why did he get that one? Why, because we had seen what Trey did last year.
correct.
Like Trey last year was like, okay, this is a normal first baseman, right? Like Trey freshman year is like superhuman, right? So I think we're going to get back to not to degrade Trey in any means from what last year. Dude played with that knee brace on and played very well considering the circumstances. But
sure.
it's definitely going to be excited to see him free of that, right? And 100%. So I'm very pumped because I mean, he was making plays last year with a brace on that some people can't make, 100% healthy. And you've already seen some of the clips coming out of the scrimmages. And we know Demouy a few weeks back was like, ain't nobody making that play at first base but Trey Morgan. And he's the only one making it. So really excited to see him get back healthy and be at first base. Because I have never – I think this is true for anybody who's an LSU baseball fan. I don't know if there's ever been a more exciting first baseman ever.
Athletic-wise, no.
It's incredible.
It really is.
It's incredible.
So, Reagan, the biggest question of the infield is second base.
Absolutely.
Give me your take. Last week, you had me start with the take on right field. I want to hear your take first.
Okay, so Jay Johnson is not naming a starter. Like, there's not going to be a starter.
He listed four
guys.
Four guys. Yeah.
4 guys. And from what Jay Johnson is saying, all will contribute. So to start the year, we're going to see guys worked in and out. And it's going to be situational. Who's pitching that day for the other team? And how does one of these 4 guys line up against that guy? And what's the best matchup? So at the beginning of the year, I think we're going to see that. And I think what they're hoping to happen is someone takes control defensively, offensively, and takes the position and runs with it.
Yes, for sure.
So here's the 4 guys, just to have it out there so if you don't.
I'm looking at their which way they bat because
Gavin Guidry, the freshman, Gavin Dugas, the veteran, the newcomer Ben Napolt, and then the transfer from last year from LSU Eunice, Jack Merrifield, who you have been hearing a lot about. So here's my take. Okay, Gavin Dugas, veteran guy. I think he's going to play a lot. I don't think Gavin takes control of the position. I don't. Wow. Here's why. Number one, and this is not saying the injury is holding him back. He just had eye surgery recently, and he is full go. This like I think it was the last scrimmage or the next scrimmage.
Yeah,
and we're like 2 weeks out, so he has not been healthy, and he does not have the reps the other guys have. 1, 2, it's been a while since he's played second base. Do I think defensively he can do well and his bat can get him in the lineup? Absolutely. But with this surgery, I want to see how he does. I want to see if he's okay, right? Because obviously Jordan Thompson had a surgery prior to the season, and he led the SEC in errors last year. Mm-hmm. So how does Gavin respond to this surgery? How does he do? He's full go. As of right now, he's able to go up against live pitching. We'll see. We'll see how he does. So I don't think he's your day one. I'll say that. I think he could eventually. Let me take that back. I think eventually he could be your everyday second baseman. Potentially. I'm not saying he is. Potentially. I don't think he's your day one. I don't think Western Michigan Friday, February 17th Gavin Dugas is your starting second baseman. I don't think it's Gavin Guidry because of just freshman needing to grow. Do I think he will contribute? Absolutely. Day one starter, I do not think it's him. I think it comes down to Ben Napolt and Jack Merrifield. And this has been really hard for me because I knew we were going to talk about it tonight. And I knew we were going to make each other say, all right, who's the guy? Who's the guy we're saying?
Yeah.
And this has been really hard for me because Ben Napolt, obviously the guy who does very well at the plate, getting on base, very disciplined. Jay Johnson put him in the likes of Dylan Cruz and Trey Morgan in plate presence. So if he truly has a plate presence like those guys, like Jay Johnson is saying, that's a great attribute to have in another player in your lineup. And defensively, I think he will do very well. He was first team Athletic 10 at VCU last year. Great player defensively.
Yeah.
Jack Merrifield is a player you have been hearing a lot about his bat. Jay Johnson said he may have been your leader, and I guess in batting average, maybe is what he was saying. Your leading batter this fall and in recent, scrimmages. And we know at LSU Eunice, he was junior college, second baseman of the year, defensive player of the year. So we know he's got the ability to, and he did it at second base. I know last year we tried to put him at third, but his defensive player of the year award came when he played at second at LSU Eunice.
Mm-hmm.
So we know he can play second base well.
Yeah.
And it sounds like the bat has improved very well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really tough decision.
It really is.
I'm going this just solely off of what I've been seeing reported. I think Jack Merrifield is your day one starter.
Interesting.
Again, Jay Johnson has been adamant. He's not naming a starting second baseman like this is your everyday guy because all of them will contribute in some way. So we're going to see how that plays out and how they kind of feel that out at the beginning of the season. It'll be really interesting to watch. But day one, I think it's Jack Merrifield.
I think second base is more of a question than right field.
Oh, absolutely. You got four guys competing for it.
I think
four guys who could legitimately play it.
Yeah, it is the biggest question on this team, more so than catcher, more so than right field, more so than your pitching rotation, closer, all that stuff.
It's your most competitive spot.
It is your most competitive spot. Here's what I'll say. I agree with you. I think it comes down to Jack and Ben, who become the everyday guy. I think Gavin is going to get a lot of playing time, though.
Oh, no question. No question.
He's going to play a lot.
His bat is too good to keep him out.
Yeah, I think it's a situation where he is at least playing one game a weekend.
DH, second base, somehow.
Possibly two games a week. We're going to see how that – he's going to play, especially if he gets healthy. I agree. I think it's between Jack and Ben Napolt, but I got to be honest. I think Napolt wins the job.
I think he very well could.
He's also another player that has been really talked about. Talked with Chris Demouy a while back, and he has – and everything that we've commented on, whether – on, potential lineup and just with me and him texting back and forth in conversations, he is very high on Napolt. I know NOLA.com is also very high on Napolt. So, I agree. I think it's going to be between Merrifield and Napolt because those are the guys that have been mentioned. And the good thing with Napolt is he bats left-handed.
Yeah.
So, and he's the only one that bats left-handed out of the four. Gavin's a righty, Jack's a righty, and Gavin's a righty. So I guess I should say the Gavins. The Gavins are righties, Guidry, Dugas, and then I'm going blank now on the other one. Jack's also a righty. So, Ben's going to offer something different there. Like when you really got to have a lefty righty matchup, you're going to see. I think you're going to see the Polk. So, especially when you have to have them at that position. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a spot that's wide open. I'm very interested. That is going to be a big storyline to follow this year in regards to playing time, who takes over, all of that stuff. So I'm interested to see how it all plays out.
I will say this, Zach, because I have no idea who is in Western Michigan's pitching staff. If it's a right-handed pitcher, you're probably going to see Nepal. I will say that. Just because of the lefty-righty matchup. So,
and that's why I expect, because when you're able to have a lot of lefties in your lineup, it's dangerous. A lot of good lefties,
absolutely,
like good left-handed hitters. It's going to be a problem. Reagan, to wrap this up, obviously the biggest area is the fielding. Because we had a massive issues with errors and fielding this past season. How much does that improve this season, in your opinion?
I think drastically. I think you see a very defensively sound team in terms of the middle of the infield, second shortstop.
Okay.
I think Trey Morgan becomes elite again. I think the only question mark is Tommy Tanks. How good is he? We don't know. We don't know. We didn't see that at NC State.
Are you at all worried about second base defensively because of guys having to rotate and maybe not being as, consistent, everyday type guys there?
Not really. I think all of them can play it very well. As the only one that I would be worried about, and I wouldn't even say worried. I wouldn't even say worried, is Dugas, just because it's been a while for him to play. I think naturally he's not really a second baseman. Mm-hmm. But Guidry, Napolt, and Merrifield, like, they're second base guys.
Yeah.
They're second base shortstop type players. Yeah. Not worried about them. I think Jordan Thompson, we have quickly forgotten how well defensively he played his freshman year, taking over the third base spot, then taking over the shortstop spot, and played very well defensively for a freshman. And what was last year, I think, was absolutely a product of an injury that was nagging him, coming off surgery, not himself. And with Jay Johnson being like, hey, guys, he's the guy, I'm not worried at all. I think he has a great year.
Trust the coach.
Absolutely. Jay Johnson will know way better than I will. So I'm all in on Jordan Thompson. I think he has a huge comeback year. Huge.
Gonna be exciting.
Absolutely. All right, Zach. It's an hour 10. We need to hit one more quick break. We'll come back and we will wrap the show up right after this.
Make sure you go follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Tigers Avenue, for daily updates on the show and all things LSU sports. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to click off and hit that subscribe button at Tigers Avenue. We broadcast all of our shows live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
All right, everybody. 2 weeks out. 2 weeks from the day LSU opens up against Western Michigan. I was talking to Zach this week, and I was like, man, they're getting started pretty early. I don't know if y'all know the schedule or not. We have Western Michigan to start, and then Southern is the midweek. But the next weekend, the second weekend, is the Round Rock Classic, and you're playing Kansas State, you're playing Iowa, and then you're playing Sam Houston State. And then on Tuesday, you are going to Austin, Texas to play the Texas Longhorns for a midweek game. I think that's the best midweek game I've seen in a very long time. So I'm really excited about it. They're kicking off really quick against some good opponents. We're 2 weeks out. I couldn't be more thrilled. I'm really enjoying discussing baseball and our projections. I mean, this team is is going to be exciting. Expectations are through the roof. Appreciate all you guys, Ryan, for coming in and commenting and interacting throughout the show. It's been a great show. We've enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it as well. We'll catch you next time here in the Tigers Avenue. 5-Star Hero, take us out. Peace.